Alrighty, howdy y'all. So let's get right into it. So the colleges that I got into are these ones here. Again, they're more realistic, sort of lower end, not really crazy, but whatever. It's how we go, it's how we ride the wave. So let's just hop right into it. So this video is going to have all of these stats, everything that I did throughout high school to get me into those colleges. So we're going to go over my GPA, my SAT, ACT, extracurriculars, summer courses, some volunteer work, some honors, and some certifications that I got. So first, let's start off with GPA. So my unweighted GPA was a 4.0. I never got a B, and that was incredibly difficult to do, so I don't recommend doing it, but it does look nice and pretty. Then my weighted GPA was a 4.5. Just a brief overview. So next I'm going to talk a little bit about classes I took. So to get my weighted GPA of a 4.5, I took 11 AP classes, all of which I will put everywhere because there are too many to remember. I don't remember what they are. So now let's talk about my SAT score. My SAT score, I got a 1360. Nothing too insane. That was mainly the thing that held back my entire application was my SAT and my ACT score. On the ACT, I got a 29. So they're pretty similar scores when you start comparing them down into the nitty-gritty, but it really held me back, and if I did better on those, I probably could have gone to a bigger score, to a different school. Next up, let's talk about extracurriculars. So I did a few main extracurriculars. So the first one I want to talk about is FCCLA. I was the president last year, and this year I am the senior advisor. I've been in it for 4 years, every single year. And within that club is a lot of competition. It's very competition based. So there's district, state, and national competitions each year. So there are a lot of other things to do with that, but it's too much to talk about. Next up is Odyssey of the Mind. I've been in that for 2 years. We got an Odyssey of the Mind team at our school last year, so I was on one of the founding teams. And that's also a competition-based club, so we did have like regional and state competitions and things like that. Next up is Beta Club. Most high schools have Beta Club. I was in it for 3 years, and I was the project manager of 2 service projects that we did in those 3 years. Next up, I have National Honor Society, another very common club. I was in it for my last 2 years of high school, mainly because our school only lets juniors and seniors be a part of it. The next 2 are smaller. So freshman year, I was in the student government club, but it stopped the year after. So I was only in it for 1 year, and then this year I was in the Social Studies Honor Society. So that's pretty much all the extracurriculars that I did. I feel pretty good about the ones I did. I probably could have done more, but then I just really would have stressed myself out, and I was already stressed enough. Next up, let's talk about summer programs. So this by no means is something that everyone's going to have, but I just did 2 of them. So the summer after my sophomore year in high school, I went to the University of Florida's Design Exploration program, and that's basically just an architecture-based program just to give me experience. And actually, the summer after my freshman year, I also went to a national congress for like future scientists and technologists. It's along the same lines of that, but that was kind of a scam, and I probably shouldn't have gone, but I did anyways because we were going on vacation up there anyways, so probably shouldn't have gone. I didn't put in any of my applications though, so because it was sort of a scam and I didn't want to involve myself in it. So I just ignore that. And then the other summer program I did was at Falling Water Institute, and that is in Pennsylvania. I went to their high school residency program for a week, and that was really cool. I wrote about that in a lot of my essays. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is volunteer work. So I'm just going to go over like the main volunteer work and then like some smaller things that I did that made up all of that. So the first thing is our school's VPK butterfly garden. So for that, I led a team to restore it, and in order to do that, me and my friend, we painted a huge ass mural that took a year to finish, and also installed the garden for the preschoolers. The next thing is in FCCLA we did a lot of service projects towards Braveheart Properties, which helps house homeless families, and for all of our work that we did with them, we actually got a national FCCLA Families First Award, so we're very proud about that. Yeah, that was just something that we did. The next thing, all throughout high school, I was a teacher's assistant for one of my favorite teachers at my old middle school. So I just did a lot of various things for her throughout each year. Next thing, my local humane society, I was a project manager organizing groups to help run their event booths and stuff at like different like art shows and things like that. Next thing, I did some fundraising for Dance Marathon. It's a pretty common thing, the Miracle Network. So I helped do fundraising for that, and of course went to the whole event and everything like that. Next thing I did, I made costumes, specifically tutus, for kids at the Ronald McDonald House Hospital in Central Florida. So they were running low on costumes and stuff to give to the kids, and all the kids really wanted tutus, so we made them a bunch of tutus. Also did that in FCCLA. So a lot of these are kind of like a part of extracurriculars. And then last thing I did was I knit together a bunch of little breast cancer ribbons. That was for fundraising for our county superintendent. He was doing fundraising for the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, so I did that to help out. That's pretty much the main chunk of the volunteer work that I did throughout high school. The next thing I'm going to talk about are some of the honors that I've gotten. So the first and probably most important one is I am a U.S. Presidential Scholar for the CTE category. I was a Florida nominee, which is what I wrote on all my applications because that's all I had known. But actually just today I found out that I'm a semifinalist for it, so praying that I get to be a finalist, but who knows. Next honor, I had an honorable mention from the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards. And then lastly, I was my high school's interior design top student for 2 years in a row, sophomore year and junior year. And then the very last category that I'm going to go over are my certifications. I am certified in 3 different softwares. I am certified in the Chief Architect Home Design software, Adobe Photoshop, and Adobe Illustrator. So pretty much all of that all got pushed down into my college applications. It is kind of a lot. To me, this was my realistic experience. This is what I could do. It's what I could accomplish without absolutely losing my mind. But don't worry, I've lost a lot of it. But that's pretty much everything. I hope you enjoyed my stats. Tell me if you want me to read out my essay. That won't take extremely long. Also, gonna be making a college decision video here soon. So stay tuned.